Hello everyone, Shirley here. Today we're finally going to take a look at Mythic Sarkareth. This should have been out a while ago, but Baldur's Gate 3 made me forget what a clock is. So anyway, we're jumping in here on the poll. I'm playing a slightly modified single targets build for this. It's pretty much the same as standard, except I'm playing short cooldown on Thunderous Roar and Cleave, and that's about the only changes. And that's just to help out with the adds during Phase 2 and a little bit of Phase 3. So on the poll here, when we go in, I'm not going to wait for my first test of might. I'm going to immediately throw up Thunderous Roar and get as much value out of that cooldown reduction talent as I can. And then we're going to be staying towards the inside of the ring here and behind Sarkareth as much as we can. And that's to bait the first fire breath away from our range group. And then after that, the second one that's going out here, we're going to rotate to the outside of the ring to bait it at them. And this is where our entire raid is going to stand in that breath and clear our debuffs. I got one of the first Disintegrate lines here too, so I don't have to worry about clearing that. But it does mean we're taking more passive damage throughout Phase 1, so we just got to be safe and avoid as many of these fire swirlies that go out on the ground as possible. And then during this portion, I'm going to be trying to stay behind Sarkareth as much as possible because this boss just parries you all the damn time. So yeah, we're going to rotate to the back there. And when the Disintegrate lines go out, it's not a huge deal if you're standing in the line as long as you're behind the person that it's actually targeting. So we're just going to avoid as much of this passive damage as we can. These swirlies can get pretty rough at times though. But as we move to the end of the phase here, this last Glittering Surge cast, this is where I'm going to burn my parry and another Spell Reflect, as well as Rallying Cry for the group. And Colossus Smash comes up right there, and you can throw it if it's not too close. You'll have it back up after this little intermission here. And that's why I'm just pressing buttons like Cleave and stuff, and that's just a spam rage. Burn off anything I have just to get the cooldown back as fast as possible. We're going to quickly move back to our little purple marker there, and that's to drop all those puddles as close together as we can. I'm waiting for the call to come back up, grabbing our last stack, so we're at 10 here. And then this is where I'm going to burn all my cooldowns once again with Avatar, waiting for all the adds to spawn and throwing that Thunderous Roar and Whirlwind after we cleave them all. And I'm waiting just a few seconds to actually use those cooldowns because I want to make sure that the Recklessness proc from your Avatar and Colossus Smash is still active during that ad spawn, so you're getting full crit value out of the Thunderous Roar and mainly the big Whirlwind afterwards, and that's gonna, do as much damage as we can during that little phase there, because the ads are going to die pretty quick, at least off the first set when everybody has the big haste buff. Otherwise, we're gonna rotate around the room here in front of the boss, so we're gonna get parried constantly, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Right here, we're saving our Colossus Smash if it comes back up, just for the ad spawn. Once again, for the same reasoning, we've got a 3-ish second window to use that Recklessness, and it's mostly just to get that Whirlwind. So I'm trying to hold Whirlwind to make sure I have it for each ad spawn. Unfortunately, I get the Infinite Duress buff right as we go into execute range on the big ad here, but not the end of the world. We're going to run that out, get back in as soon as we can, and try to Sweeping Strikes, execute the big ads onto the boss as much as possible. Right here, we're throwing our Colossus Smash again here with that Wreck window as it just falls off. We missed the end of the Whirlwind there, but, you do what you can. Still thunderclapping, to get rend up on as many of these as possible. Got a little bit close to the tank there. Normally, this big ad doesn't run out, so we had to hard swap and focus this thing down before the Dispel had to go out here. And then we're going to run back to the outside of the platform and get into position for our next little downstairs transition phase. We're all going to stack up as much as we can. And immediately spread out here, run around, start picking up these little motes to get our haste buff. And it's super RNG whether or not you have time to get to 10 stacks. Generally you can, but sometimes it's a little bit close. So right here I only get to 9, but that's, still pretty good. As we go into the last phase of the fight here, we're going to burn our cooldowns with Sweeping Strikes and go ahead and try to passively kill these ads as much as possible. This is where it's nice to have pushbacks like Ring of Peace and stuff to bring them into melee range, because we really don't want to get in front of the boss here because he does a cleave. We are going to soak that first black hole zone and just flirt the edge of his melee line there so we don't get in front of him. and do our first hide phase here. We actually hit execute percent 35 for us anyway, right before this goes out, which is pretty good. We want to hit that ideally before the first set of dispel bombs go out here that we have to run out from. We're going to stack back up in the middle of the room here as these two infinite duress go out. We have a warlock gate down, and we're going to dispel and all gate at the same time. This is where I'm also going to spell reflect and throw up parry, all of our personals, and we're going to soak that black hole there as a raid group. As the next set of ads spawn here. I'm going to throw up dots on them, but otherwise I'm just going to sweeping strikes and continue to execute the boss, because that's where all of Arms' damage is, you know, during this last phase here. It's my job to just execute the boss and get him dead as quick as possible, and let everybody else passively kill the ads. Sometimes if they get out ahead of the boss, you might have to hard focus them, but ideally we're just going to be passively cleaving them down and trying not to get in front of the boss as much as possible in case the timing on movement goes off and he does a swipe. But anyway, we're going to get to this portion of the fight here, and our second hide comes up here. We only got the one pillar up front there that we're hiding from, so we're going to blow some CDs here, and this is where my cooldowns come back up anyway, avatar and stuff. We have second potion up here as well. You could save it for the very final hasted phase, but with all of our CDs, I think it's a bit more valuable for warrior anyway to go ahead and second potion here and get that really big thunderous roar. We're going to sack the person that gets the black hole there off on the left, because that bomb goes out immediately after, and we have to be very quick to dispel that. You just have to be watching to make sure that you don't get knocked into a swirly as it's falling, because we want a specific number of stacks to go downstairs right here as an entire raid group. Otherwise, you'll offset it and people will fall through the floor and die. So anyway, we're going to run around here, grab as many motes as we can, and there's a very tight window to actually run back upstairs here. We're just waiting for the call. I see a mote on the inside here, so that refreshes my 10 stacks. So we come back out, and we can soak this last black hole because we've got everybody up except for one. This is where it's nice to have grips and stuff to knock in the ads. I'm just passively cleaving them with sweeping strikes, executes. And as the boss was drugged back into the middle here, as he turned around, I immediately blew parry because I didn't want to accidentally get cleaved, again, depending on timing there. So yeah, down to the last hide phase here as we spam out the executes, and down goes Mythic Sarkareth. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, I'll see you soon in the next one. Soon TM, I guess. We got a patch coming up pretty soon, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks for watching. Peace.
Good fucking job, everybody.
Let's go.
Let's go! Oh, let's fucking go! Hey, nice fucking job, everybody. Way to fucking bring it together.